Hello, 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 everyone. It is I, Dr. A, and tonight is another installment in our Manifest 2025 New Year, New You cohort meet and greet. I am so proud to bring this project to you. Hi, I'm proud to bring this project to you. And I'm even more proud and super honored to bring my really good friends as guests who have sacrificed their time and they've been working and really hard to be a part of Manifest 2025 and make it amazing. And tonight is no different. I am bringing a really good friend. You know, some of the people that I'm bringing, well, all the people I'm bringing, I know them very well, and I'm blessed to call them friends. This is no different. However, what makes this different is this particular friend and I have gone literally to hell and back carrying a couple cups of ice water together. And I am so thankful that the Lord saw fit to divinely connect me to amazing souls. And this is one of them. So we're going to hop into it tonight. We won't be before you too long in my churchy words, but I want to give leadway for the one and only. She's my red, but to everyone else, they call her Mattie, the one and only Mattie Stevenson. And I'm actually going to let you introduce yourself, Mattie, because you're so amazing. I don't want to forget anything that you do. So I'm going to allow you to introduce yourself to the people while I'm sharing this out to some folks. But the floor is yours, and welcome to Manifest 2025.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you for deeming me worthy of even being on tonight, being your guest. We vibe on so many different levels, on stage, off stage, at home, on the couch, chilling, watching movies, and just talking, being in each other's company. And I don't take that for granted. I don't take for granted you sharing your platform with the Lotus. Um, I'm super proud of you and all of your endeavors. Manifest 2025. Come on, Manifest. And we're going to build this year and expand and transform. I am Mattie, as Dr. A shared, affectionately known as the Lotus. I wear a lot of hats. That's what we do. We boss up. We change our hats throughout the day,
Yes.
wearing multiple hats sometimes at one time. Hear what I said? At one time.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I'm a mother. I'm a businesswoman. Own several businesses. I have a nonprofit organization, and I work a full-time job. It's not easy. But we make it do what it do because we've been called and we have a sense of purpose. And sometimes we don't know what that purpose is. All we know is that we keep navigating life and we work it out.
Listen, and that navigation portion is so important because when we think about navigation, we think about ocean, right? We think about GPS and how to get from one place to another. But in order to properly navigate, you have to have a compass, right? There needs
Yes,
to be some
yes,
form of measurement that gives direction. And for us, our compass, for many women, our compass is our intuition, and we follow it. We get those gut feelings. And then when you have super duper enhanced compass, it's led by the spirit, and it gives us an advantage to the other travelers on the road and on the way, right? Because
absolutely.
our GPS, our compass can predict and knows what's ahead even when we don't. And so although the direction may seem questionable to us, it may feel burdensome, extra, it may be stormy, the waves may be knocking us around, but if we follow the correct compass, we'll
Right,
be able to navigate through, up and around the storm and come out on the other side unscathed, right?
right.
So I absolutely love that you said that. And I wanna dig into several things that you do. But one of the key things that we have talked about for Manifest 2025 is transformation,
Mm-hmm.
and how we kind of take that word for granted. Usually when we think transformation, we're thinking, oh, this person used to be so and so many pounds and now they're this pounds, or this person went through a glow up. It's a transformation. But really, that word goes so much deeper than what it
Right.
looks like on the outside. We have to, if we want it to be sustainable, right? Like, we can make quick changes, but if we want it to be sustainable, it has to be a changing of our thinking. We have to switch our mindset into a manifest mindset, into an abundant mindset. It really starts from within. We have to pick ourselves. We have to prioritize. I mean, the list goes on, but it really is an inner work, a spiritual work, and a mental work, right? And that
Come on.
includes our emotions. And so I just was strategic in picking people to come on alongside this Manifest project who understood true transformation. And you have an entire podcast centered around such things. So, tell me about the podcast, and also tell me about this lotus. I've heard you talk about it before, and I just thought it was so dynamic. So, can you share with the people what type of transformation a lotus goes through?
So the lotus originally is more so identified by way of the Buddhist religion. And I said, wait a minute, I serve God. I can use anything that my father created to represent me.
Mm,
Although it is signified by way of the Buddhist religion, I started looking at what the lotus really meant. And the lotus stands for rebirth and resilience. When you even think about the natural habitat and how the lotus grows,
mhm,
it starts in mud. And a lot of our lives aren't clear. It's muddy, it's dirty, it's unfamiliar, it's rough terrain, it's less than favorable conditions. So you
mm,
have the lotus that starts in the mud. It starts its growth underneath the mud. And
yeah.
even when it buds and it peeks through the mud and it feeds off of the energy, the sun, the SON is what I pull on. And the lotus pulls on the SUN for energy. So as it's peeking through the mud and it starts to bloom, it's still taking root in the
Mhm.
mud.
Yes.
We have to learn to be steadfast and immovable in many of our situations
Mhm.
because transformation, and I know I may be getting a little ahead, but transformation is not linear.
Mm.
Transformation is not always a straight shot. Sometimes we get off course. Sometimes we forget what we're actually navigating or working towards. We have these goals that we sometimes have to revisit or even look at it and measure to see if it's even realistic for the season that we're in.
Mm.
So now we have this lotus flower that starts underneath the mud. It peeks through the mud, pull on the energy of the sun to start blooming
Mm.
and budding and blossoming. That energy that's showing up from the sun for the lotus, that energy comes by way of people that we interact with, those that we connect to, mentors that we may seek guidance from. It comes from reading. It comes from getting grounded. Y'all see where I'm going with that?
Yeah.
It's different components that we can pull from
Mhm.
throughout our journey to recharge us, to give us energy, to help propel us into our next. And while it's taking root, which is called the germination stage, while we're taking root, while we're germinating, while we're getting our steadfastness, it then goes on to its growth. It goes on to having its stems and its leaves, and it blossoms into this beautiful flower.
Yeah.
But the lotus is so powerful. It doesn't stop there. When it dies, those seeds from the lotus flower goes back into the mud to
Mhm.
either start all over again,
Mhm.
or it dies off and seeds other lotus flowers.
Amazing.
So with us, we are looking to help other people transform,
Mhm.
help other people navigate, help other people not just reproduce themselves, but maybe they can pull from us and bloom and blossom from us. That's what it's all about.
Mhm.
Empowering each other, giving back, giving a little bit of yourselves.
I told y'all. My folks who really my folks who've been following me for a minute, you guys know I never lie. There's no need for me to lie. When I say somebody is dope in their own right and in their own lane, I genuinely mean that. So powerful. Yes, that's the transformation that we need, that embodies transformation and blossoming where we are from underneath the mud. And even when our assignment is done, the legacy keeps going through our seeds that we plant. I love that. So tell me a bit about your podcast, The Lotus Letters.
Uh, we air every Saturday at 7 p.m. We're actually in season 2. The first season, I focused on harnessing our second wind.
Mm,
Sometimes we get so exhausted with life, we forget to reset.
right.
Sometimes we have to, I don't always like to use the word detach, but in this particular instance, I really did have to detach and work on me for an
Mhm.
entire year. That was working on my mind, working on my body, working on my environment, really vetting who I allowed in my personal space,
Mhm.
safeguarding my eyes, safeguarding my ears, and listen, safeguarding my mouth, because I needed to work on this weight. Not because I didn't feel attractive, but because if we really think about overeating or putting foods in our bodies that's not clean, it
Mhm.
does impact our creativity and our thinking.
Mhm. Absolutely.
So my podcast was focused on harnessing our second wind, doing the work necessary to change our thinking, change our perception. Season 2, I'm tackling the spirit of fear, because a lot of things that have been planted in us, especially early on, evolved into us being afraid to
Yes.
embrace our purpose, not
Yes.
thinking that we're good enough, not thinking that we're capable enough. We have the skill set, we have the education, and
Mhm.
sometimes we even have the audience and we have the supporters, but there's still something in us that poses a fear and a challenge that hinders us and sometimes gets us to abort our purpose.
Woo, listen. Also, shout out to you guys. I see y'all hopping in the room. Thank you for your likes and for your shares. I appreciate it. Please
Mhm.
drop a hello in the comment section. Let us know where you're joining from, or if something is resonating, like all of what she's saying is resonating with you, please drop it in the comment section. And we'll also take your questions there too.
Absolutely.
Oh my gosh. Yes, and yes. I oftentimes use the analogy when I'm doing workshops and working, especially with women. If we saw someone
Mhm.
who was pregnant, who was
Mm.
pregnant with twins, triplets, quadruplets, whatever, by nature's design, that
Mhm.
woman is equipped to carry that which she has been or not conceived, but that which she is carrying, right?
Mhm.
The thing is, I would never let somebody whose only purpose, and no shade, but your only purpose and capability and capacity was to carry one baby, convince me to abort any of mine. You've
Wow.
never carried multiple babies. You've never had to purpose and plan out and nurture and do what's necessary to bring multiple lives into fruition. Now, the wisdom of God, those babies still come out one at a time. But ultimately, the capacity of what you can carry truly depends on what you're called to, what you have been birthed out of the mind of God and capable to do. And what I find, especially in my retreats, is that women find themselves feeling less than, feeling unaccomplished, feeling halted, feeling stuck, because along the way, they have allowed people, places, and things to cause them to abort their purpose,
Amen.
cause them to abort multiple things that they've been called to. Oh, you can only just be a mom. You need to focus on raising your kids and don't write that book. Don't have that business, or you're a business owner, you're career focused, so you can't have sleep. You can't have boundaries, right? You can't do these things. And again, this commentary is coming from people who have nothing to show to the contrary. They have nothing to prove what they're saying other than their opinions, right? So I love that you said that, and I hope that as people watch your podcast and as people join us over in Manifest 2025, I hope that people are able to get over those things, get past those things, really start to dig in. We talked about seeds earlier. Well, you talked about seeds earlier. What is the root? What seed was planted that told you that you couldn't? What seed was planted that told you that you had to stay? There are women in toxic and abusive relationships worried about what will happen if you leave, when you really should be worried about what will happen if you stay. What part of you will be harmed, will be affected, abused if you stay, right? And so I love this concept of identifying those seeds, finding out that purpose, going full speed ahead towards it, making sure that you transform unapologetically. And I also want to take this moment to say openly, my friend, Red, you look so good, mommy. I was like, wait, where did my friend go? I mean, I love it, but where you go? I love the transformation that you've made, both the physical and spiritual one. But I just want to say openly, I am so proud of you. Transformation looks good on you. You're in your Lotus era and you're wearing it really well. And I'm just so excited to see it happen up front and in person and in real time. It's really, really dope.
Thank you. I apologize. I was looking down because when I'm talking to you, you always spark my intellect.
You're still doing it.
So I was writing down notes because I didn't want to forget my thoughts. So everybody that's looking and listening, watching, please forgive me. I was not being disrespectful. I just did not want to lose what I wanted to say to Dr. A. I actually had started researching capacity and bandwidth, because every now and then I'll get downloads of words. I'm like, okay, let me write this down. And I may not use it then, but
Right.
then the epiphany will come later. So when I started researching capacity and bandwidth, I used to always say, do I have the capacity to do this? Is that outside of my capacity? So I decided to look up the word capacity. Capacity starts to really talk about how we have a maximum amount or a maximum capability of doing something. But the word bandwidth is without limits.
Ooh.
So now I use the word capacity sometimes, depending on the context and the situation, but I use the word bandwidth more often, because when you start thinking about bandwidth discuss frequencies and energy.
Yes.
And that has no limits.
Yes.
That frequency most times is you're riding the wave.
Yes.
You're riding the wave. And sometimes that wave gets a little rough, but you learn to start maneuvering. You learn to adjust.
Yes.
You learn to go back to the goals, and you go back to the ideas, and you go back to the plans, and you revamp them. That's why transformation is not linear. But sometimes those of us who are goals driven, we get frustrated. Let's speak truth. We get frustrated and we get discouraged when sometimes we got to go back to the drawing board.
Right.
But you have to choose to look at it in a different light. You look at it that you're going back to the drawing board with more wisdom, more knowledge, more understanding, education, experience. So that same idea that you saw in 2018, when you come to it in 2022, you got a different lens that you've seen it through.
Yes. Yes.
That's why in the first season of the Lotus Letters, I had to start dealing with my mind first.
Right.
And everything that was clouding my judgment and distorting the way that I was approaching things and seeing things. It started with my mind and my heart.
Yes.
Because we're also talking about mind-heart coherence in season 2. And once you start clearing this heart out, that connectivity to your mind and in your brain and your innovativeness, that changes.
Yes. Which is why we're instructed to guard it, because out of it flows the issues. And that Hebraic word there, issue, doesn't mean problem. It means association. Whatever pours out of your heart will be tied. It'll be an exchange. It'll be an energetic connection. And so guard what you allow your heart to be attached to, right? Guard
energetic, bandwidth.
Bandwidth, yes. Listen, I love that. Now, the first time I'm gonna say, my friend Mattie said. The second time I'm gonna say, it's been said. The third time I'm gonna say, as I always say.
I love it. I love it. You my sister. Use it.
No, but that's really good. I love that. If anybody has watched me at all, they know I love words. Etymology is my jam. I love the historicity of words, because I feel like the context of what we're saying, if we're going to indeed manifest, and if we're going to do it, if you're a believer, you're doing it scripturally, hopefully. We have what we say. So for us to watch what we say, and if the power of life and death lies in the tongue, then it is up to us to wield that power accordingly, wield it wisely. But you can't do that if you don't know the word you're using. So I am a word fanatic, and I love the fact that you sought out the difference between capacity and bandwidth, and it does make a difference. And I love that it's limitless. And to me, understanding that all energy comes from above, of course it's limitless. If bandwidth is the measurement of energy, then yes, it is limitless, because he is the limitless supply. He is.
I'm saying.
You know what I'm saying? So we should not be running out. And if you're running out of steam, that's a surefire way to, like you said, go back to the drawing board. Am I supposed to be here? Did I misread this? Have I outstayed my season here? My bandwidth has not ended, but my purpose for my energy in this space has come to its end. It's funny because when like I'm seeing it, what I'm saying, I'm seeing it in season form. The energy that we this heat wave, this wind, this rain, it's all the same energy. The rain that comes from the sky is the same water that was on the ground. It's all the same energy. And from season to season, that energy transposes how it shows up, but it's the same energy, right? And so the energy that ends in the summer does not mean, the summer has reached its capacity. No, the bandwidth has changed lanes. It's changed waves. I'm going to study that out. I love that. You have my brain going, hey, hi friends. That was good. That was really, really good. Thank you so much for that. Again, I'm gonna be like Mattie said. Listen, I always say.
That's great.
I'm adding that to my list for sure. So listen, what can we kind of talked about what people can expect from Manifest 2025. You are one of our speakers. I wanted the people to know you so that as they sign up and they come into these private sessions, they're clear about what to expect. So we talked a lot about your podcast. You're also a business owner. I don't want to fly past the fact that you have had several pivots in your life recently. I don't necessarily want to get into your business. I feel like that's a great component to the session that I know you're going to get into. But I do want to talk about the energy that it took to decide to pivot. I do want the people to know what happened on the other side of your pivot. What was the result of saying yes to yourself?
Saying yes to myself caused me to lose some relationships.
Mm.
Putting me first caused me to lose some relationships.
Yeah.
Because what we have to realize is, in all seriousness, when we seek indirectly validation from others, some things that we're doing, we don't even know we're doing that. And we start to feed a need of those that are takers, especially when you're a giver,
Mm.
right? So when I had to start to re-examine what I was pouring and wasn't receiving, there was no need for those people to hang around anymore because I cut their supply off.
Yeah.
And it did leave me questioning my judgment of even having them attached to me. Like, have you ever been in a season in your life where you're so far to the left, you don't even know how you got there? Or you're
And
making
all you know is I
decisions.
need to be out. I don't know how I
That's
got
all
here, but I
you
know I don't
know.
need to be here no more.
You may not have the plan, you may not have the
Woo!
example. And for me, I really had to walk by faith in this season. But it also brings me to my next point. I had to check my response in this season.
Mm.
Not just how I was articulating a thing, because your words do have life and death, they have
Right.
power. So those things that I had to look at what I was saying because it was manifesting. Come on. And I also had to check my response to what life was throwing at me. I had to be reminded that I'm not in this alone. And those people who were my genuine supporters, that's what you have to do. Find your real village. Your real village of those who support and
Yeah.
celebrate you. Those that aren't looking for you to always give, give, give. But
Yes.
when you're in the season where you need to pour, that's your village.
Yes.
Those are the people that you keep around. So, response, cutting people off. I love you the same, but this is a season of building me. This
Yeah.
is a season of renewing my mind. And if you really love me, you'll understand. You'll overstand that. I
Yes.
had to make hard decisions. I had to learn to prioritize. And I had to learn to say, more importantly, Mattie, some things are just good at being finished. It doesn't have to be perfect.
Ooh, you chop me up every time we talk. I would love for us to talk and you not put me on Front Street. I would love that.
Sometimes finish is just good enough, sis.
Whew.
Everything don't have to be perfect.
Mm.
And we prioritize those things that actually do need to be perfect.
Yeah.
And not every conversation deserves our attention. Because a lot of times we waste unnecessary energy and
Right.
and put deposits in places that it doesn't have to be. And I didn't start out perfect. My journey
Mm.
started September of 2023.
Okay.
And from September 2023 to March 2024, I lost 90 pounds just from a mind change.
And it looks good.
90 pounds from September 2023
Wow.
to March of 2024. Everybody was asking, did you have surgery? No. I changed what I was putting in my mouth. I stopped going through those drive-throughs, and I created a workout regimen Monday through Friday. And I made it, whereas when the first thing that I did when I walked through the doors of my home was go to my garage and get on my treadmill. I didn't cook dinner first. I
Mm.
didn't check emails. I didn't look through my mail. I came in. Most of the time I would wear something. So you have to beat yourself at your own game. Most of the time I wore something comfortable so that when I came in the house, all I needed to do is put my sneakers on to go to the garage.
Mm-hmm.
When you decide that you're going to pivot and create a plan, you
Mm-hmm.
have to look at your life holistically, because every area of your life will now be impacted, right?
Right. Absolutely.
And I'm a
Absolutely.
mother of 3. My children still needed me, but I had to let them know, and I had to let myself know, in order to be here for them long term, I need to make changes now.
Yes.
And
Yes.
that's what, and a lot of times we live for the right now,
Mm-hmm.
not for the future. So
Mm-hmm.
these right now decisions that we made, how will they impact us long term? What will it say, and how will it speak to our legacy? Or will there even be a legacy? And I made myself aware that I want to live and see my legacy thrive. I
Yeah.
don't want my legacy just thriving after I die. I want to be able to sit here and look at my legacy thrive.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes, ma'am. Yeah. Okay. Have y'all signed up? If you have not signed up for Manifest 2025, please visit averyatkinson.com/events. Because, guys, it is going to be so good. So, so good. Listen, friend, I don't have anything to say. All the things that I could say would just be amping up what you just said. And I just wanted to, in old school, we say, don't preach after the preacher. So I do not want to preach after the preacher. It was good right by itself. I'm just again thankful that I know you as a divine soul that you are. I'm so thankful that you've allowed me to come alongside and be a part of your transformation journey. I don't think lightly of that at all. I'm so proud of you. I would probably say that 80,000 more times because I am. I'm very, very proud of you. And for those of you who are watching, again, you can watch her podcast. Season 1 is already out. She's in the midst of season 2, but season 1 is already out. The Lotus Letters. It is right on YouTube. You can also go to her page. I'll be sure to drop it in the comment section after this live is over. But definitely now, if people want to contact you outside of the podcast and hit you up, maybe get some mentorship or something like that, how can people find and follow you?
Outside of the podcast, you actually can use our Gmail account for the Lotus Letters, and that is Lotus Letters Podcast at gmail.com. Lotus Letters, that does have an S, podcast at gmail.com.
Sweet. I am dropping it now. So you guys, please feel free to reach out. But I again invite you all to sign up for Manifest 2025, New Year, New You, New Year, New You cohort. Our guest speakers are amazing in their own lane and in their own right, and they have agreed to pour all the good things in so that by the end of the cohort, you are well on your way to manifesting the best year of your life. And it will be the kickoff to the best years of your life. I genuinely believe that when we are whole and when we are well is when we manifest into our best selves. And so let's get there and let's get there together. If you guys have any questions, you can always DM me. Next week will be our next speaker on. And then I think we have two more speakers, and we'll be getting ready to kick off the cohort. So thank you guys for joining. Also, I love each and every one of you for your likes and your shares. It was so appreciated. Continue to take care of yourself. Continue to be good. You can, if you need me, you can DM me, or you can email hello@averyatkinson.com, or you can follow me across all social media at Lady A Global. That's all together, Lady A Global. I'm on all social platforms, and currently right now I am running my own platforms the first time in a long time. So it will actually be me that you are talking to, should you inbox or have any questions. Okay, guys, be well, be good, travel well, live well, and travel light. Okay, guys, I'll talk to y'all soon. Bye. Thank you, Mattie.